These are 15 R&B songs only true 70s kids remember. And they still hit just as deep today. Think you will recognize them all? We bet you forgot about number 3 on the list. Number 15, Be Thankful for What You Got by William DeVaughn, the Cadillac anthem of quiet strength.
You may not drive a great big Cadillac.
When this smooth groove dropped in 1974, it wasn't about flashy fame. It was about inner pride.
Against the white wall, TV anthems.
Recorded at Sigma Sound Studios in Philly and released on Roxbury Records, William DeVaughn's message landed like gospel on the airwaves. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac,
Golden jewelry, diamonds and all.
He was a government clerk who spent $900 of his own money to record it, and it became a quiet storm classic, sliding to number 1 on the R&B charts and number 4 on the Hot 100.
Diamond in the back, sunroof top, big in the scene with a gangster lean.
This wasn't a track for the disco crowd. It was for the real ones. You could hear it echoing out of Impalas cruising slow down the block. The bass line rolled like a warm Sunday breeze, and the lyrics reminded a whole generation that dignity didn't come with a price tag.
TV anthems in the back.
If you remember this tune, chances are you remember when music told the truth softly, but with power. And speaking of soft soul power, number 14, Let's Straighten It Out by Latimore, the grown folks talk that played after bedtime.
Sit yourself down, girl, and talk to me.
Released in 1974 on Glades Records, Benny Latimore's slow-burning monologue wasn't for the kids. It was for the couples.
Oh, yeah.
A moody, blues-laced piano and that deep, southern drawl delivery made this track a staple of late-night R&B radio. It climbed all the way to number 1 on the R&B charts, and if you were up past midnight, you heard it.
Sit yourself down, girl, and talk to me.
But more than chart success, it lived in the living rooms and bedrooms of grown folks who needed to talk it out. There was a raw intimacy to the way Latimore delivered it, like a conversation over low candlelight and an unfinished argument.
But the last time I saw me when we went to bed.
You can still picture it. The needle dropping on the vinyl, the room going still, and that voice coming in low and Smokey saying, "Sit yourself down, girl, and talk to me."
If you can't stand the truth, you ain't got no business in your bed, in your house, anywhere, nowhere around you.
This was therapy on wax. Soul music that said what most people were too proud to. And if this was a late night confession, the next track is pure Saturday night celebration. Number 13, There's Nothing Better Than Love by Luther Vandross and Gregory Hines. The smoothest duet you forgot you knew. Now this one technically dropped in the twilight of the decade, 1986. But for those who came up in the 70s, it felt like a throwback. It sounded like every moment you sat on the porch watching the world go by, dreaming about a love that felt just like this song. Luther was already a quiet storm king, and teaming up with Broadway legend Gregory Hines brought an unexpected magic. Their voices didn't compete, they complemented. Velvet and Silk. Though it hit number 1 on the R&B charts, it never got the same pop shine. But if you had older siblings, a cool uncle, or a parent with taste, you heard this playing low while they cooked dinner or slow danced in the living room. It wasn't just about romance, it was about possibility. And if that was a whisper of love, the next one is a scream of heartbreak. Number 12, The Agony and the Ecstasy by Smokey Robinson. Heartbreak never sounded so poetic.
Back when first we met.
By 1975, Smokey had stepped out from the Miracles to prove he could craft soul solo. And this track, off his album A Quiet Storm, is where he poured out all the pain. The title says it all.
You get into my.
This is about loving someone you shouldn't, and the emotional roller coaster that follows. Set to a lush orchestral backdrop, Smokey's falsetto trembles with guilt and longing. It wasn't a dance floor hit, it was a quiet storm staple. The kind of song that came on during a rainy night when you were staring at the ceiling, wondering why love had to hurt this much.
You know that
Many folks remember Cruising, but this was for those who really listened. If you remember sitting in the back seat while your older cousin rewound this track on a cassette tape, then you know what Heartbreak Soul sounds like.
hey, got to pay some agony.
But let's shake off those blues, because coming up next is Funk with a Grin. Number 11, Fun by Funk Shun, the party starter that never left the basement. If you were at a house party in 1977, there's a good chance this was blasting through the speakers right as the crowd got loose. Funk Shun, straight out of Vallejo, California, dropped this infectious jam on Mercury Records, and it flew up to number 1 on the R&B chart. With its playful chant, bouncy bass line, and horns tighter than Sunday church slacks, Fun wasn't just a song, it was a command. You had to dance. It didn't cross over huge on the pop charts, which makes it even more special for those who were really there. You can still picture the block party. Someone's uncle working the grill, kids chasing each other with red cups in hand, and this jam pushing through the speakers like pure joy. But we're not done dancing just yet. Number 10, It's Forever by the Ebonys, the wedding slow jam that slipped through the cracks. Released in 1973 under the legendary Philadelphia International Records,
That's how long I'm gonna need you.
It's Forever never hit the national spotlight like some of the label's bigger names, the OJs or Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, but those who knew, knew. This track was a pure, soul-stirring declaration of love. The kind of song you heard at weddings, anniversaries, or slow dances where eyes locked and hearts whispered promises. The Ebonys delivered rich harmonies, a soaring falsetto, and that unmistakable Philly soul orchestration, strings, horns, and a groove soft enough to float on. Though it didn't chart high, it left a deep impression. For many 70s kids, this was the song you watched your older siblings dance to, real close, while you peeked through the cracked door. It was that grown love, the kind you didn't understand yet but couldn't wait to feel. And from one Philly soul moment to another. Number 9, Brandy, You're a Fine Girl by Looking Glass, the blue-eyed soul curveball no one saw coming.
There's a port out of Western Bay and it serves.
Okay now, here's one that might stir up a memory you forgot you even had.
Port out of Western Bay and it serves.
Yes, it's technically rock, but to many 70s kids growing up with AM radio on constant loop, Brandy was part of the soul fabric, especially for those who lived near water, dreamt of escape, or had a cousin named Brandy.
Sailors say Brandy, you're a fine girl.
Released in 1972, it reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. And even though Looking Glass wasn't an R&B group, the storytelling, longing, and smooth delivery of this track gave it soul credentials. You heard it on those mix station playlists between Marvin Gaye and the Chi-Lites.
Couldn't stay, no harbor was his home.
And you'd hum along without even realizing it. For 70s kids, it was just there, woven into the background of summer afternoons, car rides, and dusty jukeboxes in corner stores.
At night, when the bars closed down.
If that one made you say, "Oh wow, I forgot about that," just wait until you hear what's next. Number 8, Baby Let's Clean House by J. Blackfoot. The soulful breakup you dance to anyway. Before going solo, J. Blackfoot was the lead voice of the Soul Children. But in 1983, he gave us this slept-on gem that still echoed the late 70s Southern soul grit that many kids of the era grew up with. Baby Let's Clean House wasn't about chores. It was about cleaning out the emotional closet. The raw Memphis production, those pleading vocals, and the pure drama in every line made this a song for folks who'd been through it. It might not have cracked the pop charts, but on black radio stations down south and in Midwest cities like Detroit and Chicago, this was a must-play. Grown folks two-stepped to it with tight smiles, knowing exactly what it meant to be fed up and still in love. You can still smell the soul food and floor wax from Saturday morning cleanups when this song came on the stereo. And if this was soul for survivors, the next one is for the hopeless romantics. Number 7, We Both Deserve Each Other's Love by L.T.D. A silky promise set to candlelight.
'Cause you and I were meant to be.
From the moment Jeffrey Osborne's voice glides in, you know you're in good hands. Released in 1978 under A&M Records, this mellow masterpiece from L.T.D. was the song for couples who made it through the storm and came out closer.
When I were meant to be.
It wasn't their biggest hit. That title goes to Love Ballad or Every Time I Turn Around, Back in Love Again. But for those who really lived the era, this was the one that stuck to the ribs. The song opens like a prayer, sincere, slow, and wrapped in the kind of warmth that made even cold nights feel cozy.
You're just as sweet.
It was on mixtapes, played at cookouts during the wind down, and requested during the final hour of every Quiet Storm radio segment. If you ever saw your parents dancing to this with their eyes closed, you understand the power of this track. And speaking of quiet storms,
Just you and I, that's.
if these classics from the 70s are bringing back memories, maybe even a few tears, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps more soul lovers like you find their way here. And trust me, we've got 6 more deep cuts coming that'll take you right back home. Number 6, Love Jones by Brighter Side of Darkness. The teenage slow jam with grown-up feelings. Back in 1972, this Chicago-based group of high schoolers dropped a track that felt way beyond their years.
If someone was to rip me off you, I couldn't account for my actions.
Love Jones, released on 20th Century Records, wasn't just a song, it was a moment. The lead singer, a 12-year-old kid named Daryl Lamont, poured his heart out like a man who'd already seen it all.
In other words, baby, I just got to have you. Listen to me.
It starts with a spoken intro, soft, almost bashful, before gliding into a velvet groove full of teenage ache and promise. It wasn't polished like Motown or funky like Stax, but that's what made it unforgettable. It felt real. It shot up to number 3 on the R&B chart and even cracked the Pop Top 20.
It's just love, but true love, the way I feel about you.
But more than charts, this was the kind of record that made you pick up the phone just to hear someone breathe on the other end. If you remember those awkward slow dances in the school gym where your heart beat faster than the music. This was that song. But from teenage longing, we go to a grown man's breakdown. Number 5, A Letter to Myself by the Chai Lights. Soul searching from the South Side.
I write a letter to myself.
The Chai Lights were already known for hits like Oh Girl and Have You Seen Her? But in 1973, they gave us this quiet, aching piece of self-reflection.
I'm sealing up this letter. I just finished signing your name.
Released on Brunswick Records, A Letter to Myself didn't hit as hard on the charts. But for 70s kids with parents who wore their emotions on their sleeves, this was the one. Lead singer Eugene Record's voice is vulnerable, almost trembling as he reads his own letter, full of regret, lost love, and hard-earned wisdom.
A letter. What is a home when you're on?
The lush string arrangements wrap around the vocals like a blanket, but the pain still seeps through. This was a song that played on late-night radios while parents stared out the window. It wasn't for the clubs, it was for the quiet moments when grown-ups got real with themselves.
Order dinner for two.
If you ever wondered what heartbreak sounded like before auto-tune, this is it. And if that got you emotional, just wait until you hear the next one. Number 4, That's the Way of the World by Earth, Wind & Fire. A soul sermon wrapped in stardust.
Do you feel all right? Are we celebrating?
Released in 1975, this wasn't just a song, it was a philosophy. That's the Way of the World, off the soundtrack to the film of the same name, was Earth, Wind & Fire at their most spiritual. Maurice White wasn't just singing, he was teaching. The track flows like a breeze, guided by Charles Stepney's heavenly arrangements and Philip Bailey's high angelic harmonies. It wasn't a party record, it was soul food for your mind.
Come together on this special day.
It reminded a generation coming of age in a turbulent decade that love, hope, and struggle were all part of the journey. For kids of the 70s, this song might have played softly on Saturday mornings while parents made breakfast. Or maybe it hit you later when you understood what it meant to plant your flower and you grow a pearl.
Turn the gram, y'all, turn it on. Turn it, keep on grooving.
It peaked at number 5 on the R&B chart but soared even higher in spirit, and its message still rings timeless. And speaking of timeless truths, Number 3, Just Don't Wanna Be Lonely by The Main Ingredient, When Smooth Meets Desperation.
I just don't wanna be lonely.
Released in 1974, this is the kind of song that slipped into your bloodstream. Cuba Gooding Sr.'s voice, yes, the father of the actor, glides over silky grooves with a sadness that's barely masked by the danceable tempo.
Don't mind when you say that you're going on.
Produced by Tony Sylvester and Luther Simmons Jr., the track was a perfect mix of soft funk and emotional storytelling. It reached number 8 on the R&B chart and cracked the Billboard Hot 100's top 10, making it one of The Main Ingredient's biggest hits. But to those who grew up in the 70s, it wasn't just a hit, it was a mood. The kind of record you'd hear during a family card game or see your aunt close her eyes and sway to, remembering someone she never talked about.
I just wanna be loved, yeah, baby.
The lyrics may be about loneliness, but the beat kept you company, and that's the magic of true soul. But trust me, nothing prepares you for the raw power at number 2. Number 2, I Miss You by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. the apology that tore hearts open.
I miss you, baby. Oh.
If you grew up in the 70s, you probably remember when this song first came on the radio, and everything else just stopped.
You've been away from me so long, and I just...
Released in 1972 on Philadelphia International Records, I Miss You was nearly 8 minutes of pure emotional unraveling. And then there was Teddy Pendergrass. His voice, thunder wrapped in velvet. When he cried, "I miss you, baby," it wasn't performance, it was testimony.
You can look at my eyes and see that a great big man like...
The song begins with a spoken apology so raw, so confessional, it almost felt invasive to listen. But that's what made it unforgettable. This wasn't just a breakup song, it was the blueprint for soul catharsis.
Gloom and I feel dying, 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 dying all up.
Fathers, uncles, older cousins, they played this when they couldn't find the words themselves. It was the soundtrack to regret, the anthem of lost love, and a reminder of how men used to plead with their whole hearts. And though it never hit number one, it never left the hearts of those who heard it. So, how do you follow that? Well, with a song that felt like it came from the heavens themselves. Number 1, Adore by Prince, the ultimate soul devotion.
Until the end of time, I'll be there for.
Now listen, we know Adore dropped in 1987, but let's be real. Every 70s kid who came of age with vinyl in their veins claimed this one as their own. It felt like a classic the moment it hit, tucked at the end of Prince's Sign of the Times like a sacred gift.
Till the end of time, I'll be there for you.
No chart position could ever measure this song's impact. It wasn't a radio smash, it was a love letter. The horns were tender, the falsetto divine, and every lyric carved straight from Prince's aching heart.
That's why,
Until the end of time, I'll be there for you. It became the wedding slow jam, the bedroom anthem, the midnight confessional. For 70s kids, Prince was the bridge between old school soul and the future.
tears of joy pouring down on us. They knew we need each other.
Adore was his most sincere moment. No gimmicks, just pure feeling. And that's why it's number 1. Because no matter the year, you never forget a love like that. From basement parties to kitchen radios, these 15 soul tracks carried the spirit of the 70s in every note. They weren't always the biggest hits, but they were the realest, and they still live in our bones. Thanks for joining us on this soul stroll down memory lane. Subscribe to keep the groove alive and never miss our next stroll. Up next, 15 most tragic stories of 1960s forgotten R&B stars. Click that end screen and let's keep the rhythm rolling.